Hey there, hey there, hey there. We've been talking about fears all month. And this is the last of the series because guess what? The month ends tomorrow, October 31st. And then we get to go into something brand new and exciting, which I'll explain in a few moments. But we know that stress has skyrocketed when you talk to your friends and family members or even your coworkers, you can see it in their faces and you can definitely hear it in their voices. The question is, when will we feel relief? On today's Stress Talk with Marcyline, we're going to continue to address underlying causes of fears and propose ways to address them. This is part two of our two-part series, How Mature Women Tame Fears and Easily Take Control of Stress. And we're going to get to it in just a moment. Hi there. I'm so glad you're with me today. This is Stress Talk Live. I am Marcyline Bailey, and this is where we work on your emotional and your mental health from the inside out. I want to make sure that I ask you to like, follow, and subscribe to ML Bailey Consultants, and you will find that on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. This is one of the ways that you can keep in touch with me as well as make sure that you are up to date on what we're doing to help you to lower your stress levels and boost your energy. Last week, I told you that I had a big announcement, and I do. I do have a big announcement. One of the things that I've been working on during the past few months is making sure that there is content that will support you. That's the biggest thing. That's why I do Stress Talk Live because I want to make sure that you have content that supports you. As you know, I always say you can Google anything and you can Google stress tips, stress techniques, but a lot of those techniques are short lasting. They don't last very long. My goal and my mission is to educate you and to help you to learn the underlying causes of your own personal stress and to help you to develop your own personal strategies that will work for you, that fit in your lifestyle and in your life. Uh, excuse me. You're going to be seeing a little bitty furry animal walking around um, and making some noise, a little bit of noise. Yeah. Anyway, maybe you'll see her and I'll introduce you at that time. For now, though, let's get into our subject. And I will be making an announcement a little bit later, one that I think you'll be excited to hear. Okay, so we are talking about underlying causes of fear. Underlying causes of fear. Last week we talked about vulnerability. We fear being vulnerable because we don't want to be rejected and we don't want to be abandoned. One of the things that being vulnerable can do is it can help you to gain confidence in yourself. It can help you grow in empathy and compassion for others, as well as build stronger relationships and stronger connections with others. but mostly it helps you to accept and embrace your true self so that you can be your authentic self. So we spent a lot of time last during our last discussion talking about vulnerability, being vulnerable. Today, we're going to be talking about two other things. We're going to talk about insecurity and, excuse me, and isolation. And I've got to get some water, you all, because I am about to choke. About to choke. So I'm going to get some water. I don't have tea today, just water, lots of water. Thank you. Okay. So I'm looking at somebody looking at me like I'm gonna have to take her out when I'm done. Okay, let me get back on topic. I'm getting back on topic. Okay, so insecurity. Many of us have a fear of insecurity. And well, maybe I shouldn't say that we have a fear of insecurity, but we feel insecure. We feel insecure in ourselves. And when we have a feeling of insecurity, then that raises a lot of fears within ourselves. And I have a list of them, and I'm just going to read them. When we are insecure, we have a fear of failure. We're concerned that whatever we attempt to do, we're going to fail at it. We're not going to be good at it, and we're going to look foolish doing it because we are insecure. We also have a fear that of loss, that we're going to lose. You know, when you just don't have confidence in our ability to hold on to things or to have things that are beneficial for us. People who are insecure sometimes oftentimes don't think good things come to them or do not think that they're going to have benefits that come to them. Another fear that's a result of insecurity is a fear of change. We want things to be just as they are. So we often fear stepping into something new, moving in a different direction, or we fight back when changes occur in our lives because we're fearful that we may not have what we need to meet whatever challenges we may face, or we may not have what we need to even meet the change. Another fear that we have that's a result of insecurity is uh, a fear of intimacy. When we have a fear of intimacy, we do not allow ourselves to be authentic with other people, with whom we live or we spend a lot of time with. We try to cover up who we are because we're not secure in who we are. Insecurity also leads to a fear of being judged, a fear of the unknown. It leads to being lonely. It leads to a fear of being rejected. Not only that, insecurity can cause us to be fearful of success. So, what do I mean by that? Well, if we have a fear of change and if we have a fear of failure, then oftentimes we don't take the chances. We don't step out of our comfort zone to even move in a direction in which we can be successful. We're stuck in the same place mentally, emotionally, and oftentimes physically. So we want to be aware of our insecure feelings and we want to be able to address those feelings. Why am I talking about insecurity as it relates to stress? I'm talking about it because when we are insecure within ourselves, then our stress levels are high. We're always on guard. We're always watchful. We're almost hyper vigilant to make sure that we don't fail, that we don't make mistakes, that things don't change, that we cover who we truly are, that we're not authentic because we don't want to be judged, um, because we fear the unknown. And that causes our stress levels to go up. Remember, when I talked about fear, I talked about it as it relates to stress. The same physical reaction that we have when we're stressed is the same physical reaction that we have when we're fearful. So, insecurity is one of those unknown or hidden causes of stress. It's an underlying cause of stress that we need to become aware of. Because if we're aware of it, we can do something about it. So that is insecurity. And I'll talk about how we can move past being insecure after I talk about the second fear that, the second fear. Okay. So if you have any questions or any comments, just feel free to drop them into the comment section. Okay. All right. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about is isolation. And isolation is something that when we have insecurity, when we feel insecure, when we have fears of failure, loss, change, intimacy, when we have a fear of being judged, when we have a fear of the unknown, when we fear rejection, when we fear not being good enough. Okay, that's part of that fear of being judged. When we have those fears, we sometimes will isolate ourselves. And we can isolate ourselves in many different ways. Sometimes people think of isolation as just a physical um, thing, that we isolate ourselves physically. We remove ourselves from the environment, we remove ourselves from other people. We remove ourselves from situations, and they think that that's how we isolate ourselves. But we can also isolate ourselves within a crowd. How do we do that? Well, we don't engage. We don't make eye contact. We don't look people in the eye. We don't look at their faces. We avoid any type of engagement, whether it's verbal engagement, whether it's participation in the conversation. We avoid those things. That's another way that we isolate ourselves. Sometimes isolating ourselves in a crowd can be more harmful than actually separating ourselves from a situation. For one thing, we don't benefit from being in a group of people where there's an exchange, where there's discussion, where there's engagement, but also other people do not have the benefit of engaging with us. We withhold from them the things that about us that may be beneficial to them. So when we isolate ourselves, we always have to remember that we often prevent others from enjoying and benefiting from our gifts, from our skills, from our knowledge, as well as our presence. People who isolate themselves do so because they've learned that the world is a very scary place. Yes, the world can be a very scary place. And for individuals who have experienced harm from others, they, and I won't say they, but we, when we've experienced harm from others that's constant, then what we learn is that the world is scary. Thank you for the heart. The world is scary and we have to protect ourselves. So we take actions to protect ourselves. So when we isolate ourselves, whether it's physical or whether it's emotional, it is a form of protection. Is it a healthy form of protection? Well, in some cases, it can be. I won't say that it's not. In some cases, it can be. When it's not, it's usually because, or it's usually when you are in a relationship with someone, or you have interactions where you've learned other people and you learn how they act or react, and there's commonality. So we want to make sure that if we're in a relationship that is safe, stable, and we feel secure in that relationship, we want to be authentic and we want to be genuine. And we want to take note and really consider whether we need to take protective measures to protect ourselves. So I don't want to say that isolating ourselves is all bad. It's not all bad, but we want to make sure that when we isolate ourselves, we're doing it because we need that protection, not because we fear people who we have a safe, stable relationship in which we feel secure. The other thing that happens when we isolate ourselves is we build walls. We build those walls. We keep people at arm's length sometimes, or we build walls so that others cannot see our true selves. That's another way in which we isolate ourselves. Also, when we isolate ourselves, we oftentimes deny our genuine feelings. And let me give you an example of that. Sometimes we will feel as if we are safe, stable, and secure in a conversation or in relationships, whether it's work, whether it's home, whether it's in community, or whether it's with our friends. But we will hold our feelings in check because we don't trust what we're feeling. We're not sure that we're safe. We're not sure that this is a stable relationship. And we're not sure that we feel totally secure. The lesson, however, is that when we isolate ourselves, we also in turn, we prevent others from enjoying and benefiting from our gifts and what we bring to the table. Another thing that happens when we isolate ourselves and when we are insecure is that we are easy to forgive other people, but we hold ourselves to a standard that is very high. And we replay situations, mistakes, errors, or situations because we're so critical about ourselves. Insecurity will do that, and isolation will do that. We dwell and ruminate on certain things. For example, have you ever been in a conversation and then you say something and you think, oh my goodness, I probably shouldn't have said that? If you're insecure, you're going to go home or you're going to stay home and you're going to think repeatedly, why did I do that? That was stupid. I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder what they're saying about me. They probably think I'm this, I'm that. All of those negative thoughts keep going on in your head. Someone else, you would probably forgive them, but you hold yourself to a standard that probably nobody else can meet, even you. Why do we do that? Because we're insecure. We're insecure with ourselves, within ourselves. People make mistakes. We don't do everything right. We need to learn to be self compassionate with ourselves. We need to treat ourselves the way we would treat other people. We need to care about ourselves and be easy on ourselves. So, how do we get through some of these fears and concerns so that we can move forward, lower our stress levels, and boost our energy? First and foremost, we need to accept and love our true selves. Accept and love our true selves. Now, I often tell my clients that um, we learn to like ourselves based on what other people have said to us, the way other people engage with us. And so that we've learned to look at that mirror, and the mirror being other people. And we often judge ourselves based on the interactions that other people have with us. Well, what I tell people that I work with, that's not accurate. When we interact with other people, there's so many variables around that they don't give us a true picture or a true image of who we are. They don't give us that, they don't give that to us. Although we've learned that's how am I okay? If I'm okay, then she's going to react to me in a certain way. Well, that's not necessarily accurate. That's not accurate. Our self worth is not based on how other people interact or act when they're around us. Should I say that again? I'm going to say that again because I think that's important. Our self worth is not based on how people act or interact with us. That's something that we need to remember. What we ought to remember is what is inside of us, what is genuinely inside of us that we embrace and makes us who we are. We need to strive to do our best and not be perfect. Insecurity comes from trying to be perfect. Well, perfect, again, is one of those things that can't really be measured because it's subjective. It's based on people's opinions. We need to strive to be our best selves. We also need to extend compassion and empathy to ourselves. Remember, I said be easy. Just be easy on yourself. We need to extend compassion and empathy to ourselves. We need to understand that everybody makes mistakes and we should learn from them. We don't want to keep making the same mistakes. We just want to learn from them. And then finally, understand that you don't have to prove your self worth. You don't have to prove your value or your worth. You just have to be genuinely who you are. And that's where people can genuinely accept and appreciate you. So I've just taken you through part 2 of how mature women tame fears and easily take control of stress. We've talked about isolation, we've talked about insecurity, and I've talked about how you can overcome all of that by accepting and loving your true self, your genuine self. I'm going to invite you to do, not in addition to liking, following, and subscribing, I also want you to take the quiz. I put together this quiz. Are you blessed, stressed, or burned out? So that you can find out where you really are in terms of your stress levels. I know we're all stressed right now, but where are you really? This is a quiz, as I said, that I put together, and I'd like for you to take it. I'm inviting you to take it. Once you take it, you'll get a true picture of where you fall. Are you blessed, stressed, or burned out? Get your phone out and take a picture of the QR code. Just hover over that QR code that's on the slide there and go to the link. Go to the link where the quiz is and take the quiz. You'll get your results and you'll also get access to additional supports that are going to be very helpful to you based on where you are, where you currently are, whether you're blessed, whether you're stressed, and definitely whether you're burned out. The other thing, okay, so that's one part of the big announcement. Okay, here's part two of the big announcement. Next month, we are going to start sending information to subscribers. Next month is the month where I traditionally begin my Get Through the Holidays Without Losing It initiative. I started doing that to help women like you and me get through the holidays because it's super busy, it's super stressful, and we want to make sure that our family enjoys it to the max. Well, who's there for us? I have an answer for you. I'm definitely there for you. I'm sharing with you the things that I do through the holiday season to make sure that my stress levels are low and my energy is high so that I can enjoy all of the time that I have with my family and my friends. So, during the month of November and December, I do take, get through the holidays without losing it. So, subscribers, look for an email from me in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, you will have an invitation to, um, you will have an invitation, and that invitation is going to, will ask you if you'd like to have access to exclusive content during the Get Through the Holidays Without Losing It initiative. This is very different than what I've done in the past. In the past, I've just given you all everything. I've just laid it out there. This year, I will continue to do my live streams and I will have a few other items that content, a few other items of content that I will share during the week. However, for subscribers to the newsletter, you will have access to exclusive content. And when I mean exclusive content, I mean not only will you have access to the content, you'll have access to moi because I'm delivering that content. And that content is going to be content that you will receive on a daily basis. So if you're interested, make sure, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to the Smiles newsletter. And you're going to find that link right here. You will find the link to the Smiles newsletter right there if you're not a subscriber. If you are, look for the email in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited about this. This is going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be a lot of fun for you. Because when I'm talking about exclusive content, I'm talking about subscriber only content that you will get on a daily basis so that you will have what you need to meet the challenges that you're going to face through the holiday season. So that was my big announcement. Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome, Rosanna Lucius King. Very much. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much. So, do this. Do two things. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. You'll find it at that link. And also make sure you scan the QR code so you can take the quiz. Oh, I'm sure you want to know when Get Through the Holidays Without Losing It starts. It will start November 20th, 20th, and it runs through January 1st. 20th, 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 20 November 20th through January 1st. So make sure you join us again next Sunday right here on Stress Talk Live with me, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, that's all for now. That's all I have for you for now. But make sure you come back next week and we'll have some more good stuff for you. I'm Marcyline Bailey. As always, take good care.